Hey folks, what a view behind me. I'm at Black Bull Markets headquarters here in Auckland, New Zealand. Speaking of views, you can get TradingView paid plans for free at Black Bull Markets, saving you up to $600 a year. That's right, get either the Essential, Plus or Premium plans absolutely free, and all you need to do is trade from one lot a month at Black Bull Markets. And you can also get a 100% deposit bonus for your first deposit up to $1,000. All you need to do is click the Trading Nut link in the description below. Hey, if you like futures because of the tight spreads and clear setups, go check out Blue Guardian Futures. They let you start trading futures with up to $450k in funding. The best part, you keep 100% of your first 15k in profits, then 90% after that. No activation fees, weekly payouts, and they're sponsoring Chris Eubank Jr. and Birmingham City FC. Go take a look at blueguardianfutures.com or click the link in the description.
What's going on, guys? Ooh, it's echo. Do this. Well, give me 1 second, guys. Good trading week if I didn't have technical difficulties, on these streams. So hopefully everybody's doing well. Hopefully everybody had a great trading week. Again, if you guys don't know who I am, again, my name is Blake, aka Brinks Trades. I come on here every week to break down charts for you guys and, just provide a little bit of give back to the trading community. Obviously, I've been doing this for about a decade now. I started trading in March of 2015, so it's been about 10 years of me. A lot of ups, a lot of downs. Started in Forex, moved to futures a few years ago, and honestly kind of at the space now where I kind of trade currencies and indices. And so every week I come on here and break down most of the major markets that I trade. Again, really just to give back to the trading community and paint a picture of what I see the charts playing out on a weekly basis. Again, I have a trading community called Talented 10th. That is my mentorship program. There's really two sides. There's a free community where everybody can join and just kind of stay up to date with the weekly projections that I call out on these calls. But then also, there's a mentorship aspect as well where you can learn directly from me and learn basically how I see the markets week in and week out. We do a lot of video learnings as well as live trading sessions, as well as video recaps on Sundays. We're also going to have our Q3 just basically one-on-one sessions where people can learn directly. So again, if you guys are interested in that, I'll drop a link at some point during the call today. So hopefully that resonates, but we can go ahead and get going and get started with things. Let's go. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. We'll go ahead and get into these breakdowns. Again, we see there's about 11 people on the call. It's awesome. Love to know where people are calling in from. If you're watching this, don't be shy. Hugo already hopped on here. It's my guy. It's one of my students in the program. And honestly, Hugo's a monster, man. I see him every week. I see him dropping in. Dropping in profit shots and just watching him do his thing. It's been really cool to watch him grow as a trader. And he's obviously came in with some knowledge as well, but it's really cool to watch him do his thing. There's a couple other students that are really killing it right now, both publicly and obviously within the group as well. So let's go ahead and start break things down. Again, let's look at dollar. Again, I always start with dollar index because I want to get a better understanding of what dollar is doing. And if I have that relationship knocked down, then I can understand where the market's going. So we're going to look at a couple things. I'm going to start on the weekly time frame, right? And see what we're seeing here. So there's a couple of things that we saw. This is the monthly, sorry. A couple of things that we called out over the past week is that we wanted to see the market potentially continue on a bearish run, right? We are very much in a downtrend. We've been in a downtrend since January. This entire year has pretty much been a huge retracement, huge break in market structure into the downside. Now we traded back into this overall volume imbalance here. If I zoom in, you can see the volume imbalance right there, gap between the two candles. And notice that the market traded to the low end of that gap on the dot, wicked below it, and then started retracing. We are still in a downtrend, right? Even though the weekly candles are starting to trace up, we still are in a downtrend. So a lot of times, again, we're gonna pull back in that trend. It's gonna be counter trend days, counter trend weeks. So we kind of have to look at the higher time frame picture. So if we go to the daily time frame, and I'm gonna drag this out so you guys can see this. If we're looking at that 98.6 level there, you can see that there's a huge volume imbalance. This is a fair value gap / volume imbalance. A lot of different things in this zone, but it's a huge area of interest. And you can see that the market's having a really hard time getting through this level. So what do I want to see here? Well, overall, we still are bearish, right? And so there's a couple levels that I think that we could run up and retest. I'm going to be looking at this high right here at 99.01. I'm also going to be looking at this high right here at, let's call it 98.67. And so ideally, I want to see if the market retests these zones and areas before going lower. Again, this is a really, really big area of interest for us. And this is probably pretty much our last defense on like a short-term or I guess a midterm bearish movement, right? If we start taking out these highs and really fail to reject from these levels, then I'm going to really start to change my bias here and see what's going on. Now, on the weekly time frame, I think we would still probably consider ourselves technically in a downtrend until we came back up into this zone here. And I do think that you can start to see that there are rejections from this zone that are going to probably cause us to go back down. But officially, there's not really a strong bearish or bullish signal here. I would say if we closed above this buy side level here on the weekly, that could probably count as a break in market structure to the upside. So that's really what I'm going to be watching here, is how we respect these zones here. And until we really get a lot of confidence in that, that's probably going to set us. I'm probably going to be watching the sidelines, at least on on dollar. Again, we don't trade dollar actively. We just use this as a barometer to kind of like understand exactly what we want to see from the rest of the pairs and relationships. And so again, these key levels are going to be the ones that I'm going to be watching. Ideally, I love the fact that we did close below that daily gap, consequent encroachment level, right? That 50% level. You can see the average of that weekly price is trading below that. So that's letting us know that potentially we are respecting the zone, right? Even though it kind of doesn't look like it on this daily, like we're dancing around there, but we're also wicking to the bottom as well. That could be setting us up to go higher. But right now, where we are seeing the average of these closes close below consequent encroachment of this overall gap. That's a good sign. So if we're looking at things from the weekly level and daily level, that's a great sign. So I'm sticking with the idea that the dollar is still bearish. If I jump down to the 4-hour time frame, it's really just chop, where we're wicking in old gaps and taking out liquidity and things like that to the upside and downside. So nothing really there. So higher time frame, the daily, the weekly, we're still respecting that level. That means it's still game on for a bearish trend. If we start to find ourselves trading above this, then I'm going to probably take a step back, reanalyze, and see if there's another level. There is a little bit of kind of like smooth highs right here, equal highs right here that we could trade up to. So worst case scenario, I could see a world where we wick up to maybe this level and then go down. But I would say if we are finding ourselves trading, consistently higher than that 99.04 level or that 99.37 level, those 2 or 3 levels right there are kind of like our last line of defense. So for all intents and purposes, I'll mark that out right there. As well, just as a third level. So those 3 levels are the kind of levels that I would like to see the market really start to reject at one of those. And if we find ourselves not really rejecting from those levels to go down, then it's going to cause me to take a step back and really see what's going on. So someone said, what's my community name? Talented 10th, TENTH. It's actually a play on words. If anybody knows what the Talented 10th community, WEB Du Bois, is, that's kind of where I got the name for it. But also 10th is in the 10th percent, only 10% of traders, you know, they say are profitable, right? So that's kind of the other end of it. But I will drop a link right here so you guys can check it out. I don't know, there's a little lag on the stream, so it'll show up later. But talentedtenth.com, you know, if you look at that link, there's a free community. There's two versions, right? There's a free version and there's a paid version. You can join the community for free to see what's going on in there. Obviously, you don't have access to everything in there, but it allows you to get in the community, see what's going on. I update things all the time. Sometimes I take, screenshots of the trades. You can see some of the other people in the community posting their wins and their gains, things like that. So, and also right now I am kind of doing things at a 50% discount on everything. So basically, that was weird, guys. Sorry. But anyway, the monthly membership is 50% of what it usually is. So it's like $50 a month. So basically for the cost of a challenge, you can have a personal mentor that, basically works with you to help you get your trading right. So, so going back to the charts, I'm gonna do this. There's a little lag on the charts today, or on the stream today, so I apologize in advance. But yeah, so talentedtenth.com, check that out. All right, shameless plug. Let's get back into the charts. So again, I'm looking at euro. Obviously, we look at the currencies as well here. So there's a couple things we wanted to see from euro, right? And so the big thing that I'm going to be looking at, again, if I draw this line, again, I talk about this concept all the time with my students. What we're looking for here and what we see when we see this. And so there's a couple things here that I'm really interested in. If I go to the hour time frame, I can see that, this huge trend line here is sitting here. I'm very bullish on euro after looking at this. We came back down to our zone. So if I jump to the weekly time frame, just so you guys can get a bigger picture, we traded back into this order block here. You can see the market tapped that level. It started to trade back up after gapping down initially. If we look at the daily time frame on euro, we traded back into this overall fair value gap, right? There was this huge 4-hour fair value gap that the market had left right there, from that high to that low. You saw the market trade back into it and start to reject and start to run higher, right? So it lines up with that weekly order block level, which is that red line, and I'll denote that right there, OB. And so we started forming this trend line liquidity here. I'd love to see the market attack this. So I'm really looking for the market to give us a very strong 4-hourly break in market structure that we're going to use to really ride this up and attack those highs. This is a very obvious setup. And so just being patient. And we already got the 1-hour break in market structure. So just really looking to see if we can get a 4-hour one that we can trade into to run higher. That's what I'm looking for. I'm very bullish. So ideally, I would love to see something like this, where we potentially even trade into this overall imbalance here. To start the week off, maybe we wick down here on some news and spend the rest of the week trading away from this. That's ideally what I would like to see. It's just very clean, very easy to read trend line liquidity play. And so ideally, that's what I would love to see the market do this week on euro. Very, very simple idea. Same thing on pound. It's just the 4-hour. It's not as clear. There's not a clean 4-hour breaking structure. There's definitely a 1-hour breaking structure as well. But this daily time frame, it's just a little less clear here. We are respecting the zone very, very cleanly, though. If you look at here, you can see this weekly fair value gap the market is continuing to wick off of. We haven't really had a firm break in market structure yet. This is a lot of chop. at towards that lower end of that structure. So ideally, again, I'm still bullish. Like I would love for this to continue to run higher, but I see these wicks. It's a little less clear, right? So ideally, if I had to pick one, I would be looking at euro to go long. And if I don't see a long setup on euro, I'm just not going to take anything. I don't really care if it goes like 100 points to the downside. I don't care, right? That's what I want to see from euro. So I'm not going to engage with the market until we get something like that. We do have these wicks to the upside on the daily. So it could, I mean, we could go bearish, but I think with everything that I'm seeing on the 4-hour time frame, I'm going to be waiting specifically for a long-term bullish setup on the 4-hour and higher. And once I get that, then I'm going to start to look for entries to go long. And if it just continues to run lower, I'm cool with that. I'm not going to chase it. Let me hop to gold really quickly because I know people are in the same. Love gold. Gold is a mess. This is a chop. I'm still bullish on this technically, like, but there's nothing here that like interests me. Like there's no structure. There's no rhyme or reason right now. It's just chopping around, right? We set an initial buy side level here. We set an initial sell side level there, and we've been in this range for the last honestly, the last 2 months. So there's really nothing here that I want to see. So just no, if I can't get a good read on liquidity, if I can't get a good read on where the market's going, I just don't want to be engaged in the market. So I'm going to leave that alone. Let's go to NASDAQ. Let's go to the NASDAQ, the weekly NASDAQ level. So I'm looking at NQ. We had some really good trade setups on NQ last week. Really good trade setups in Euro as well. Ended up actually making about 10% of my account last week, which is really good to see. A little bit more than 10%, actually. Things like 12. So again, we're bullish, right? We ended up last week. What we said is we wanted to see the market trade back into this overall fair value gap on the low end. This is a weekly fair value gap, and then go higher. We haven't really gotten that, right? We didn't get the downside at least. Our target is still right. We're still running towards these all-time highs, but sometimes you're not going to get the ideal pullback level, and you kind of have to work with what you got. So over the last 5 days, I'm just going to get rid of this so you can see clearly. The last 5 days, we've really been running higher, but it's been a little choppier. We've been taking out these highs. So ideally, when it comes to NASDAQ, you got to work with what you got. And right now we are still running higher. So I'm going to bring back my stuff. And what do I want to see for NASDAQ? Again, we can't bet against trying to shoot the all-time high or trying to go long at the all-time low or whatever it is. It's like trying to catch a falling knife. You want some confirmations. You want things to let you know that you're doing the right thing before you start to go in that chosen direction. So ideally, this is what I want to see. It's a very short play. I just want to see the market retrace into that gap and then start to run higher. There's not a ton of the points in between. This is only like 200-point range. When you start trading at all-time highs, this is it. This is all you can really do, right? And we're already kind of trading in that gap. So maybe I'd love to see us sweep last week's low, like taking out that. And then I guess it's not even last week's low, but maybe Friday's low, coming into that gap and then taking things higher. Not a lot of room on this one. So, I mean, it's not ideal. It's not a huge range, but it is what it is. So yeah, let me go to the weekly time frame because I want to project and see where this could potentially run to. So maybe that 28,000, that's way too high. Oh, that's too high. Yeah, maybe that 25,240, that could be the next zone that we run to. A couple 1,000 points up. But anyway, that's a little bit long-term prediction. I don't know how long it's going to take us to get there, but imagine catching the low of this in 16,000. You'd be up something crazy right now. 23,103. Yeah, so somewhere in this range. I would like to see the market take and then go higher. Euro, I mean, this is kind of scary a little bit because this is chop. So we could see, ideally, again, I can't bet against what I'm seeing, right? And I'm seeing bullishness, right? It's still going higher. You have to kind of bet against that. But I don't like, and even on NASDAQ, I'm not a huge fan. This is consolidation, manipulation. We could be seeing distribution to the downside because the first thing it did out of consolidation is just run up. So this could be a big fake out, but I kind of have to run with it until the market gives me an otherwise. And if you take a loss, you just take a loss. So MNQ, EQ, ES. Again, same thing with this one. I wanted to see it initially go lower before it went higher, and we didn't get trade back into that range. We did sweep last week's high and then trade back below it. So that could set us up for a short-term reversal into this range as well. But again, I have to continue to run with the idea that we're going to continue to go higher until it violates some idea, right? We're not trying to catch a falling knife. We're going to just react to the market. We're not over anticipating or over analyzing. So as of right now, I want to see if the market will do this. That's what I'm going to be looking for. If it inverts this gap there, I'm going to make the text that says want to see. Want to see this fair value gap maintained. And then also if this level right here gets taken out, I'm just going to get rid of some of this. And I'm going to start to think short-term lower. So I'm going to call this my fail-safe level at 6,240. And all that means is that like if this level's taken out, my idea is no longer valid. So I need to stop looking for bullishness. And by takeout, I mean a close below, like a solid close below. So ideally, this is what I want to see is the market trade back into this imbalance here. Maybe it's a very short, shallow, just run and then it starts running higher. Again, I'm looking at the top, the high, the all-time high is a target. If I can catch something in this range. But again, also, I think as of right now, the best setups that I'm seeing right now are on Euro. That's the kind of like my number one for this week still. YM, same idea. I actually like YM a little bit more than the other ones, which is rare because we did trade out into this overall fair value gap and we did not take out the all-time high yet. I love that. That's the all-time high right there. So this could be a more solid setup. If you're trading US30 or YM, that could be the move if you're trading indices this week. So ideally, I'd love to see something where we trade back, maybe even retest this gap. Like we do something like this, come down, retest that gap one last time, and then trade to that all-time high. That would be the most optimal setup. But ideally, I am long for the week. I'm bullish. So that's what I'm looking at on all three indices. I looked at gold. I looked at euro. If you guys have any other currency pairs or indices that you want me to look at, don't feel free to let me know and we can talk about them. Let me get rid of this. Cool. So if you guys have any other indices or any other currency pairs that you want me to look at, feel free to drop them in the chat. We can take a look at them or answer any questions. I got some time today, so feel free to hop in with any questions about trading in general. Again, one more shameless plug for the community. If you're not in Talented 10th, at least join the free link, see what the community is about. Again, I think that resource right there is I think that resource right there is awesome. So again, I wish I had resources like this when I was first starting to trade, because, really, like, man, like, there's so many available resources to teach you how to trade. There's not one that gives you the structure, right, and can work with you one-on-one to get find really your flaws in trading. Most people just teach you a strategy and they say you're on your own, right? And so here I'm really trying to build a community that lets people kind of understand the strategy, understand the markets, like the way that I see them, but also kind of finds their flaws and works with them to correct those things. So my actual students, there's going to be, again, something for Q3. We're going to be working, again, just a one-on-one checkup to see where everybody's at with their development. Again, I want to see people not stuck in ruts and kind of growing as traders. So yeah, that's what's really there for you. So that's all I got for you guys. Again, I'll stick around for a few minutes. Let me know if you have any questions, and we can go ahead and go from there. So Marco says, how can I get better on my entries? Really? So I think the number one thing you can do to get better at your entries, and I'll go ahead and do this. So Marco says, how can I get better on my entries? I think the number one thing you can do to get better at your entries is really just kind of have a defined system down, right? And so, like, for me, and I take all my students through this, right? So we have a very distinct list of criteria that we're looking for on certain time frames, right? And usually I find if you go too low in your time frames, you risk kind of looking at a lot of noise. If you go too high in your time frames, you kind of risk putting up more money and risking more money on a trade than you probably should, and having a larger degree of a lower risk to reward ratio. So I think having a set list and a set criteria of this is exactly what I want to see, when I want to see it, on these particular time frames, in alignment with my overall bigger picture, right? And so on these calls right here that I do every week, I talk about the big picture, but I don't really talk about the smaller picture and what I'm looking for on a day-to-day when I'm trading. So I think having a list of criteria for that really makes it a lot easier for you to be able to kind of see those setups over and over again. And then just back testing, right? So I think being able to back test and go back in the charts and just be able to have a lot of just historical data on your side, so you can trust that move, that when you see it, take it, you don't even think. And sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but as long as you take the trade, you see the trade, you take the trade, and you protect yourself risk wise, that's all that really matters, right? And maybe not being so hesitant to push the button. And so for me, I realized that being hesitant to push the button usually leads to worse entries, and how I combat that is just being 100% sure that when I see what I see, I push the button, and just reps. So long story short, more reps, having a very defined trading strategy or trading plan. So when you see the things that you want to see, you trust it because you know what the data looks like, right? When you taking those trades in the past, how they turn out for you statistically. And then also your emotions are less at bay, because it's like practicing a sport or practicing anything else, right? If the more and more jump shots I take, the more and more I hit, the more and more I know what I can do. So when it gets to the game, I don't even think about it. And that's basically what this is. So that's the number one thing that I would do if I had to correct my entries or get better entries. But it all starts with strategy. It all starts with understanding your strategy, understanding your game top to bottom, and then understanding maybe why you feel like maybe if it's an emotional thing, if it's a technical thing, really narrowing that down to you. So there's a lot of pieces you can tack it, but making sure that those things are all chopped and covered are the advice that I would give. So let's see. If there's any other questions, let me know. We can hop on and talk about them. You guys can. If this is me, it's like 20 people on this call, man. So if it was me and if I was a trader that wasn't profitable or was trying to get profitable or just learning, man, I'd have a list of questions, because, not too many people do this. Not too many people give out free game on a weekly basis. So, and again, I try to be the trading mentor that I necessarily didn't have growing up or growing up, or growing when I first started trading, growing into this. So we'll give it a couple more minutes. All right, so I think that's all we got. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this, and then if you guys have any questions, follow me online at Brinks Trades, and then you can find me on all social media there. But then also, again, one shameless plug for Talented 10th. If you're not in the community, join the community, man. That's all I can tell you. There's a lot of value that's provided there, even for the free members, right? And so, again, we are running that special right now for anybody that's trying to join for the rest of July, that we're going to be $49.99. And then after this, we're going to bring those prices back up to where they're at for a month. So, again, it's basically having a mentor in your pocket and a community in your pocket that teaches you and helps you and motivates you along the way. You see the profit shots of people, you see me breaking down trades, you see a lot of things, and it really motivates you to kind of want to continue on your journey. So hopefully this offers a lot of value. And yeah, I mean, let me know if you guys have any questions. Find me on social media. I'm a real person with a real life, so I have no issue helping y'all out. So let y'all go. Hopefully you enjoy the weekend and get out and touch grass. So let y'all go. Peace. Have a good one.
Hey folks, what a view behind me. I'm at Black Bull Markets headquarters here in Auckland, New Zealand. Speaking of views, you can get TradingView paid plans for free at Black Bull Markets, saving you up to $600 a year. That's right, get either the Essential, Plus or Premium plans absolutely free, and all you need to do is trade from one lot a month at Black Bull Markets. And you can also get a 100% deposit bonus for your first deposit up to $1,000. All you need to do is click the Trading Nut link in the description below. Hey, if you like futures because of the tight spreads and clear setups, go check out Blue Guardian Futures. They let you start trading futures with up to $450k in funding. The best part, you keep 100% of your first 15k in profits, then 90% after that. No activation fees, weekly payouts, and they're sponsoring Chris Eubank Jr. and Birmingham City FC. Go take a look at blueguardianfutures.com or click the link in the description.